The road stretched before Fredo like an endless scar. The setting sun cast blood-red hues upon the ground, making his shadow dance in the dust. His bare feet, torn from the long walk, felt as heavy as stones. Each step echoed like a dull heartbeat, a rhythm that marked the misery of his existence. Yet within his heart, a spark remained. Fredo was not merely a wanderer. He was a man searching for something undefined. Perhaps a shelter, perhaps love, perhaps a miracle. His thoughts clashed within him, fragments of childhood, blurry faces of long-lost friends, the distant voice of his mother once warning him never to stray too far after sunset. The wind rose, carrying swirls of dust across the path. Fredo stopped, seized by an uncanny feeling. This was no ordinary evening breeze. It was as if the air itself breathed, whispering his name. He clenched his fists, pushing the shiver away. But just as he moved forward again, a crow swooped low over his head, its harsh caw ringing like an omen. And that was when he saw her. In the distance, a fragile figure bent under the weight of a water jug, struggling with every step. Her light veil fluttered in the wind, and each movement seemed to drag her deeper into the earth. Fredo narrowed his eyes. Was it truly a young woman, or a mirage born from his exhaustion? But the closer he drew, the harder his heart pounded. Yes, it was a young woman. Welcome to the channel. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Every subscription, every like, and every comment is a real encouragement and motivates me to keep sharing more amazing stories with you. The girl lifted her head at the sound of his footsteps. Her eyes, two dark pearls, met Fredo's. She flinched, as though startled by the presence of this unknown traveler. But Fredo quickly smiled and held out his hands, palms open, as a sign of peace. "Do not be afraid," he said softly. "I'm only a wanderer. You look weary. Allow me to help you." She hesitated for a moment. Her lips trembled as though searching for words. At last, she lowered her gaze and slowly extended the jug. Fredo took it. The weight shocked him. How could such a frail girl bear such a heavy load alone? They walked side by side in silence. Only the sloshing of the water and the whisper of the wind in the trees accompanied their steps. "What is your name?" Fredo asked after a long pause. "Sabrine," she answered, her voice barely more than a whisper. "A beautiful name. It suits you well. And you, traveler? What do they call you?" "Fredo. My name is Fredo." Their eyes met once more. This time, Fredo caught a strange glimmer in hers, curiosity mixed with something deeper, perhaps a hidden sorrow. They soon reached a lonely house built of dark wood. The roof sagged heavily over the walls as though the structure itself bent beneath some unseen burden. Fredo set the jug down near the doorway. Just as he prepared to leave, a voice called from within. "Stranger, stay with us. Come in and share our meal." An old woman appeared at the threshold, clothed in a robe of spotless white. Her eyes gleamed with unsettling intensity, her smile both welcoming and unnerving. A chill ran down Fredo's spine. Sabrine lowered her gaze, almost ashamed, almost submissive. She whispered, "Come in. You are our guests now." Fredo hesitated. His instincts screamed for him to walk away, yet an invisible force urged him forward. He stepped across the threshold, and in the heavy air of that house something shifted. He did not yet know it, but in accepting that meal, Fredo had opened a door he would never again be able to close. The air changed the moment Fredo crossed the threshold. It was no longer the evening breeze caressing his skin, but a suffocating heaviness, as though each breath drained a fragment of his energy. The house had looked small from the outside, yet inside the walls seemed to stretch into shadow, vanishing into dark corners where no light dared to enter. The old woman in white stood motionless, her smile frozen in place. Her eyes followed Fredo, dissecting him, as though probing the very depths of his soul. Her bony hands trembled slightly, but not with weakness. It was an eerie, nervous agitation, as if her hands obeyed a will not entirely her own. "Sit, stranger," she said in a voice both gentle and commanding. "You must be weary from the road. Here, no one leaves unfed." She gestured toward a low table draped with a cloth yellowed by time. Upon it lay several dishes, freshly baked bread, ripe fruits, and a jar of dark wine glistening in the flicker of an oil lamp. Yet what unsettled Fredo was the smell, a sweet, intoxicating fragrance, almost too pleasant, a scent that seemed to seep not into the body, but into the mind. Sabrine entered quietly, setting the empty jug against the wall. Her gaze met Fredo's, brief, furtive, filled with unspoken fear. In that look, he read a silent warning. "Do not eat, do not drink." But the old woman's voice cut through the silence. "Eat, traveler. It is dangerous to walk the night with an empty stomach." Her words, tender though they seemed, carried the weight of a veiled threat. Fredo hesitated. He picked up a piece of bread between his fingers but did not raise it to his lips. And then another figure appeared. A young woman entered through the back door, carrying a candle. Her beauty struck Fredo like a thunderclap. She resembled Sabrine, yet sharper, more alluring, more perilous. Her eyes, two shards of obsidian, seemed to pierce into his very soul. Her movements were fluid, serpentine. "This is my sister," Sabrine said softly. "Her name is Sabine." Sabine placed the candle on the table and sat slowly, never breaking eye contact with Fredo. Her smile was far from innocent. Within it lay a silent promise, an enchanting snare. "Welcome to our home, traveler," she whispered, her voice low and melodic. "The road is long and cruel, but you are no longer alone." Fredo felt his heart hammer in his chest. It wasn't just Sabine's beauty. It was the force she radiated, a magnetic aura that pulled him toward her. Every gesture, every blink of her eyes was an invitation, a temptation. The old woman watched silently, her smile stretching ever so slightly wider, as though she already saw the trap beginning to close. Fredo straightened, uneasy. His instincts screamed of hidden danger, yet his senses were ensnared by the spell of her presence. Sabrine kept her eyes downcast, her hands clutching her dress, trembling with some deep-rooted fear. A heavy silence filled the room. Only the crackle of the oil lamp could be heard, and in the distance, faint but chilling, the howl of a dog. Fredo felt estranged from himself. His gaze returned to Sabine again and again, against his will. She smiled more openly now, revealing teeth of an unnatural, dazzling whiteness. "You must be exhausted," she murmured. "Let me take you outside. Breathe the night air. It is gentle tonight." Her words slipped into his mind like a song. Fredo longed to refuse, but his lips would not move. Something within him, stronger than his own will, compelled him to accept. He cast one last glance at Sabrine. At last, she raised her eyes, and in them he saw silent despair, a desperate plea. But Sabine was already rising, already extending her hand, and Fredo knew with chilling certainty that his life had just shifted into the grasp of something he could no longer control. Fredo followed Sabine out of the house, his heart pounding wildly. The night was thick, the mist sliding between the trees like a ghostly veil. The moon cast a cold light, sharpening every contour and shadow, turning the scenery into something unreal. Sabine drew closer with calculated slowness. Her intoxicating scent and the softness of her gestures wrapped Fredo in a dizzying wave of desire. Her icy fingers brushed against his chest, and the temptation grew almost unbearable. "Fredo," she whispered, "let me give you what you truly desire." Their bodies leaned into one another, and Fredo felt the warmth of Sabine's body pressed against his. He was about to surrender to his longing, forgetting everything else. The trees seemed to hold their breath. The wind had died, leaving the moment suspended in silence. Suddenly, a white light flared behind them. The old woman appeared, motionless and imposing. Her cold gaze locked onto Fredo. "Enough!" she cried, her voice echoing through the night. Fredo staggered back, gasping, and Sabine was also pushed away. The enchantment shattered, and the passion dissolved like smoke. The old woman, arms raised, made an authoritative gesture. "Never dare cross this threshold again, nor taste the lips of my daughters," she thundered. Fredo's heart sank. Fear, desire, and guilt collided inside him. Without a word, he turned and hurried back onto the road. But he had taken only a few steps when two massive dogs burst out of the shadows. Their glowing red eyes and gleaming fangs threatened to tear him apart. They lunged at him with savage hunger. Fredo shouted, trying to dodge, but their pursuit was relentless. Just as he thought he was doomed, the white light blazed once more. The old woman appeared again with a single movement of her hand. The two beasts were halted in mid-leap. "Stranger, you will never forget what you have done here," she said in a chilling tone. "Beware, never set foot here again." And in that precise moment, the two dogs twisted, their forms writhing and reshaping before Fredo's horrified eyes. Where the beasts had stood now appeared Sabrine and Sabine, their burning gazes fixed on him, and a shiver ran down his spine. The family's curse had been laid bare. Fredo stumbled back, trembling, realizing he had brushed against the ultimate trap. He fled down the road, his heart heavy, knowing he could never return to that cursed place where desire and danger merged. The night swallowed him whole, but every shadow whispered the memory of those who had almost claimed him forever. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming stories. A like and a supportive comment make a huge difference and truly motivate me to keep creating more. Your support is my greatest strength, so don't hesitate to share this with others as well. Together we can grow this community.